Hello and welcome to Late Night with Tina. I'm just kidding. It seems late night for me. I don't usually make videos at night. There's been an incredible amount of information that's come to me in the last couple of days, mostly through self, but then also in conversations with other people that I wanted to share with you today. For those of us on the front line of Ascension, it's not always easy for us to find information about exactly. I gave myself a haircut and it's itching my nose. It's not easy for those of us on the front line or the first wave of Ascension to find information that pertains to us, because we are, I would say, energetically feeling it about 6 months before it actually arrives. So let me talk about what will be arriving for the majority of you sometime between 2 or 3 weeks ago and the next 6 months. We have an incredible shift happening, as you guys already know. But there are many multitudes of things going on right now that you may not be aware of. Sorry, I was not able to use my computer today, so it is what it is. We're temporarily back to using the phone for right now. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the North and South Node. And the North and South Node are the placements of the moon. So that would be the North and South pole of the moon. That affects us, I feel like, more than anything. When I'm doing tarot readings for people, one of the things that I offer is to look at their North and South Node placement, because that tells you where you're going. It also tells you where you have actually been. So your South Node is the place that is the southern node of the moon, and where that is at the time and place of your birth. The South Node is what you have spent many lifetimes doing, and the North Node is the exact opposite space on the moon, or the nodal point on the moon, that you in this lifetime are expected to go into. So let's say you have a Scorpio South Node placement. That means your North Node placement is in Taurus, and this is the same. So it's completely opposite. It's the opposite nodal point. So if you have a Scorpio South Node, your North Node is going to be Taurus right now. So Scorpio for you will be what you have experienced in many lifetimes and what you have perfected, and what you bring with you as your gifts to maneuver into your North Node, which would be Taurus, which would be the exact opposite energy of Scorpio. So there's always this dynamic, this push and pull going on between your South Node and your North Node, between what you have perfected, what you are great at, what is your natural capability and your talent, and what is the direction that you should be going in to best serve yourself on this journey, and also the collective as a whole, if we're all doing our part. So we individually all have a sun sign. That is our birthday sign, our birth date sign, I should say. And that is our sun sign. The North and South Node, again, the South Node is where you have come from, what you have experienced a multitude of times, and what you have perfected. So I'll give you an example of how this works so that you can better understand it, in case this is not something that you're familiar with. My South Node is in Leo. So my natural disposition is to be the singer, the dancer, the actress, the cookie maker, the artist, all of that, all those creative things. Because in a nutshell, Leo, whether you're sun sign, north node, or south node, Leo means I love art and creativity for the sake of art and creativity. So that's what I'm used to. That's what I've been through many times. That's what I've perfected. And that is where I always, always, always in this lifetime want to hide. Now, the opposite of Leo South Node is the Aquarian North Node. And the Aquarian North Node is all about working for humanity as a whole in the age of Aquarius. How appropriate for me. So, the North Node in Aquarius is about public speaking, it's about writing, it's about civil rights or working for the women's movement or any of these things, working for the larger picture of humanity. But for all of us, it is the same. Wherever we have come from with our South Node, that is what is comfortable to us. And then the North Node is the direction that brings us as a person on a personal level, the absolute utmost fulfillment to our soul and our soul's journey and the path that we have chosen. So individually, you have a sun sign, you have a South Node, which is what you're used to, what you've perfected, and you have a North Node, which is the direction you're being asked to go into in this lifetime, which is the exact opposite of where you came from. Doesn't the universe just work everything out perfectly? I think it does. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is you can get a reading from me about your North and South Node. You can also just look up your North and South Node and see what you've been in a multitude of lifetimes and what your current direction is supposed to be. Our North Node and our South Node are always, always, always in a tug of war. We want to do what's comfortable, what's pleasurable, not what's unknown, what's out of the box, what's out of our comfort zone for us. But again, the fulfillment is found in the direction of the North Node. Now, what I've been talking about so far is our individuality when it comes to our North and South Node. The North and South Nodes change on this planet every 18 months. So with that change happening, if you are on the first wave or the front line of ascension, you are now going to be and maybe have already been feeling what is bleeding through or coming through the North and South nodes. I'm not going to go into where we are right now because most of what we are experiencing on the first wave of ascension is the energy of what is coming. So we have a massive shift. The nodes change, the North and South nodes change only every 18 months, like clockwork. And the energy that we're moving into, that July 19th, 2023, we will be changing our current North-South nodes over. The reason why I'm not talking about what's going on right now is because, again, the first wave of ascension is already feeling the North and South node change that's going to happen in July. So, let's see, let me back up for a second. Just like our North and South node play a constant tug of war in our physical 3D life, in our reality, and in our multidimensionality as well, on a planetary level, they do the same thing. They do it for us individually. They also do it for us collectively. And it's the same push and pull or back and forth energy that we experience on a personal level will also be happening at a unified field of consciousness level as well. Now, the reason that I'm choosing to throw this North-South node information into this particular video is it very much pertains to the information I've been receiving within the past couple of weeks. Now, you guys know shortly before Christmas, I made a video and I wasn't sure if I was going to continue this channel. And over Christmas, I spent days and days and days and days pumping out and icing cookies. And I've never been so happy or so satisfied in my entire life as I was icing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cookies, because that's my very, very comfortable Leo South node. I love art. Let's just create for the sake of art and for the sake of beauty, and let's just make cookies until we can no longer contend our heart with making cookies. Now, the reason that I'm telling you this is not only will you be experiencing this on a personal level, but we will also be experiencing this right now on a collective level. And you know, whenever a group of us experience anything on a collective level, it becomes incredibly strong, and we give incredible momentum and support, not only to ourselves, but to each other on this ascension path, and to the planet, and to all sentient life as well. So this constant tug of war between what we're familiar with and also like what we've done for the last 18 months, because again, the nodes change every 18 months, right? So the energy that we've been in for the last year and will continue up until the next 6 months. Again, I'm already feeling the nodal changes. I'm always 6 months, a couple weeks to 6 months, sometimes a year in advance. I wanted to put this out because within the last couple of days, I have spoken to people that are feeling the shift that is about to happen on July 19th. If you are energy sensitive and on the first wave of ascension, you're already going to be feeling this. So our current station within the North and South node is our South node is in Libra, and our opposite North node is in Aries. So on July 19th, we will switch over to Libra South node and Aries North node. The reason this is so incredibly significant right now, sorry, I'll get my chair figured out here. The reason this is so significant is I see these roles, this quest for change, the soul urge to change in people, in the dynamic of relationships, in the dynamic of our entire lives, mirroring what is happening. So on July 19th, we move into the South node in Libra. So the energy within you personally is going to have to do with your South node and your North node. So if your South node is Libra and your North node is Aries, you're going to have an intensified version of this. But honestly, this shift is pretty intense as it is. So Libra is about balance. Libra is about working for the team, the unification, the whole, the collective consciousness, okay? Libra is also about hiding ourselves and losing ourselves in relationships. So we get into a relationship and I am me and you are you, and then we have our combined energy, or that is how it should be. With Leo being the South node, that means that the tendency for a multitude of people within the collective consciousness, you and I, will be to balance, to adjust the scales, to make things in our lives just. But with every sign, whether it's a sun sign, a moon sign, a rising sign, within every sign there are positive and negative aspects. So even though Libra is balance and working for the team, it's also hiding in relationships and playing small in relationships that are not of the highest service to self. So Libra is Libra is a sign that is about nothing but relationships. Okay. So within the relationship dynamic, we have the need or the desire or the, it's not really the right word, the provocation maybe to be the peacemaker, to be the negotiator, to not want to cause any conflict, to not ruffle any feathers, and stay in relationships that are conflictual within ourselves, to be the peacemaker, to be the liaison, or to be the negotiator that keeps the energy kind of placated, if that makes sense. Okay. So Libra is going to be in a tug of war. We have Libra in a tug of war with Aries. That means this tug of war is about getting into a relationship that is healthy and prosperous, and at your highest level, the direction that you should be going. And at the same time, it's in a tug of war with Aries. So remember, Libra is about avoiding conflict, hiding in relationships, being the negotiator and the peacemaker. But the North Node overrides, because the North Node, so the South Node is the same as it is for personal. The South Node is what we're comfortable and where we've been. But the North Node in Aries is where we're moving. And that can be very conflictual for you if you allow and invite conflict. It can also be the catalyst to massive, massive, massive change in your life for the highest evolution of who you are, where you're going, and the soul contracts that you have chosen. And that's why this is part of this video, because the other part of this video very much pertains to that. Okay, so the familiar right now will be hiding in relationships, making peace, and avoiding conflict. But what we need for self-growth, for self-expansion, for the expansion of unity within this first wave and all waves of ascension on this planet right now, is moving into the North Node of Aries. And the North Node of Aries is the exact opposite of Libra. It is being in a relationship, but being completely independent or interdependent from that person, from that situation. Okay. It is the North Node is now the soul's urge. So it will be a little bit of tug of war, a little bit of a catalyst energy between what is comfortable and what is the direction of the planetary North Node for 18 months. So the North Node is about the soul urge to find independence, to find the courage to move forward, to not avoid conflict, to not hide in relationships. But most importantly, the energy moving out of Libra or balancing between Libra and Aries would be having, finding, inviting, and investing in the courage to move forward in the best interest of self. In other words, I'm not putting my partner first anymore. Okay, not putting and this is any kind of partnership, any kind of relationship. This is not just your significant other. Okay, this is going to be your family relationships, your working dynamic relationships with other people in your mission or at your job, your career as well. The reason why I think it's so important for me to talk about this right now is because we have a massive energetic shift happening between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So our job right now is to find balance for now and the next 2 years, because again, it's only 18 months, but there's a large group of you that feel it 6 months in advance. That's why I'm talking about it now. So for the next 2 years, the most important thing to do is use that relationship dynamic, that Libra relationship dynamic of the peacemaker and the negotiator, to move into an independent or interdependent connection with all people that we share a soul to soul connection with. So moving into finding independence and the courage to move forward in the best interest of self. No more peacemaking, no more negotiating, no more being in the liaison to avoid an argument or a conflict. So that is the energy of the next 2 years. Now, before I get into this next part, there's a couple things that I hope that you will understand. Because when I make videos about relationship dynamic, I have some people that are really gung-ho that would be their preference to hear about that, and only that for the rest of my career in public speaking. However, there are also those people that turn it off immediately when they find out that this has to do with the relationship dynamic. Now, why and how this energy pertains to all of us. When it comes to your personal north and south node, you obviously are aware that that's going to affect you. What I'm telling you is the north and south node as a collective, as a planetary whole, will also be affecting you greatly right now. And I'm saying all of this to tell you where we are going and what is in the energy right now with the divine masculine and the divine feminine as well. Okay, so the why and how this energy pertains to every single one of us. And people say, well, I don't feel like I believe in soulmates, or I don't believe in twin flames, or whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter what you believe in, and it doesn't matter what labels you are comfortable with. We are all a vessel or an avatar of a mixed bag of divine feminine and divine masculine energy. And how this pertains to you is pretty simple. So we come in with these ideas, these contracts, these prior to incarnation, we set up the dynamic with other people that were going to be the most beneficial to our lives at the end of the cycle. Now, the end of the cycle can carry more weight, can carry more conflict, it can carry more upheaval. We've certainly seen that on the world stage. There's no doubt about it. But in your personal relationship dynamic, that also means more upheaval, more chaos, okay? But it's not just chaos. It's not just mayhem. The thing about this is, the other side of that is this incredible expansion. So we've chosen the friends, the parents, the connections, the lovers, the workers. We've chosen all of that which is to catalyze us to the highest potential that we have at the end of the cycle to wrap things up. Now, the how and why of how this pertains to every one of you is whether you believe in a certain label or not, whether you're interested in that or not. We are all the masculine feminine. So even if you say, I'm going to join a convent and I'm not going to have anything to do with a partnership or relationship for the rest of my life, this video still pertains to you. And my hope is that one day people will understand that the dynamic within us, the divine masculine and feminine, pertains to this relationship dynamic external to us, whether we have chosen to join a convent, to go work in an underground base on Mars. It doesn't matter. As long as you are here at the end of the cycle, you are going to be experiencing this. There's just no way around it. So the first thing that I want to say to you, because I always want to be clear and as direct as possible, is that at the end of the cycle, we have set so many relationship dynamics up all to serve our highest good. And yes, they can be messy, and yes, they can be chaotic, and yes, sometimes they can be dysfunctional. But that is the catalyst that we work with so that we can become the highest versions of ourselves in the Ascension timeline. I don't want anybody to mistake what I'm saying. Sometimes it's hard choosing the right words and talking about these kind of things. So I want to start with this. All connections right now are super, super, super powerful. All connections right now are absolutely dynamically brilliant. At this time, these powerful and dynamically brilliant connections are showing us and within our external reality what we need to change within our thoughts, our patterns, our attitudes, and our lives. So all connections are powerful and all connections are brilliant, but all connections, my friends, are not the same. And I'm going to kind of glaze over it because I got enough information today to make this a 10-hour video. And no one's going to sit here for a 10-hour video. So the interplay that we have right now is brilliant. It's fantastic. It's powerful and it's catalyzing. Depending where you are in which relationship contract type that you've chosen will depict or negate how strongly you go through the things that I'm about to talk about when it comes to the masculine and feminine energy. Okay, so you can't say, I'm joining a convent, I'm never going to experience this, I don't need this information. You need this information because you are masculine, feminine energy in an avatar. You are a light body in an avatar, and you do need this information. Okay, so the masculine feminine energy plays a significant role for every single person in this collective. We are one unified field of consciousness. So my decisions for my highest good affect you, my partner, my family, my coworkers, and the entire field of unity consciousness. And this is the part that I don't want to get mixed up. So we all have soul family. Okay, we've connected with people through Facebook and social media all over this planet, and through soul family we have connected with people on other planets and interdimensionally as well. Okay, so we're connecting all over the place because that's what happens at the end of the cycle. We make these incredible connections to bring out the highest version of you, of me, of us, and of unity consciousness, because if we didn't do that, we would not make it through the ascension process, right? Okay, so soul family are people you've connected with off planet, could be underground, could be on the planet, could be your next door neighbor. These are people that help you. These are people that in times of like the last 3 years when it's been hard to connect or hard to understand people, these are the people that are easy for you to understand. We learn from them, we teach them, they learn from us, they teach us. However, this is what I would call like a dynamic light, for example. Okay, so there's never going to be any kind of life shattering or life altering connection through the identity of a soul family. Okay, so you all know about soul family. You've all connected with people all over this planet through social media. That is your soul family. But whether you identify with soul family as a label, soulmate as a label, divine partnership as a label, or twin flame as a label, it doesn't matter. The soul contract you have chosen to play out within yourself and with others will affect the gravity of what I am bringing to your attention today. So I don't mean to lessen this, but I will put this in somewhat of an energetic perspective for you. So soul family connection is a lesser or less significant contract when it comes to soul lessons. Doesn't mean you don't love that person or have a great relationship or whatever. It's less significant, less chaotic, less catalytic, lessens, okay? Soulmate steps it up from that. Soulmate's very comfortable. I love you. I'm comfortable. I can totally be myself. I resonate with you. We have no issues. We pretty much are on the level with each other where we see eye to eye. Divine partnership combines soul family, soulmates, and divine partnership. And don't get too caught up in the labels. I'm just trying to make a basic point here. So it's about the gravity of the catalytic energy that you share with someone else in the soul contract you chose before birth to bring about the ascension process within the physical body and the planetary consciousness field. So we all have soul family connections. We all have soulmate connections, okay? Not everybody was interested in signing up for the twin flame connection. I could write a book on why a lot of people didn't sign up for that, but those that have signed up for it, are experiencing it, already know, and it's really not that important to take the time up with that. So a soul family connection is a lesser or lesser significant contract when it comes to the soul tie, which is what am I learning from this dynamic and this other person. But regardless, and this is the important part, the theme is going to be the same whether you're in a divine partnership, a soulmate connection, soul to soul, like soul family connection, or divine partnership. Very important. The theme is the same. The lesson is the same. It just depends how significant and how catalytic and how life-changing it is to you. Now, when it comes to the ultimate life-changing experience, that would be the twin flame dynamic. I'm not going to go into that. If you signed up for it, you're well aware of it, and it's created both magical moments and drama as well. We'll leave it at that. So if you have chosen a more complicated relationship dynamic, the lesson will be more complicated, but it will also be more life-changing. It will also be more earth-shattering. It will also bring more wisdom than any other kind of connection. Now, I wanted to say that before I said energetically, besides the north and south node information that I already gave you, here's what I am reading within the dynamic. And it's funny because this information came through before I even looked at where we were as a planet within the north and south node. So within these soul contracts that I just went through, there is a masculine, feminine disconnect that is happening. That may have happened for you 2 weeks ago. It may happen for you a year from now. Now, when I say disconnect, I don't mean that you had an argument with somebody, okay, and you're not currently speaking to them. That is not what I mean by disconnect. These soul contracts have an energy, a vibration, a frequency that matches each other to the point that it causes a connection to have clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all these kind of things. So when I'm talking about a disconnect from a person you have a soul contract with, I'm not talking about an argument or a momentary lapse of silence or not speaking to that person for a month or two. Specifically within the twin flame dynamic, even if that person decides they're never going to talk to you again, that energy remains there in your body, whether you're on this planet or on the other side of the veil. So if that's something you're trying to bury and disconnect from, good luck with that. It doesn't work that way. Now, the soulmates and the other connections, you can make a disconnect from those. So again, not talking about an argument or a displacement of feelings or taking a break from someone for a couple weeks. If someone takes a break from you, the other half of your connection takes a break from you, they may not talk to you They may not see you. They may not visit you at Christmas, but their energy, that soul to soul tie, that beautiful connection that we chose before we came in here, never goes away. It can never be disconnected. And if you were to ascend tomorrow and be assisting us from the other side of the veil, that soul to soul connection is just as strong. So that means when you decide not to speak to someone anymore for the rest of your life, for the rest of your incarnation, you are energetically still connected. And I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying when I say disconnect. Okay, so in these connections, we feel that other person. We feel their sadness, their happiness, their grief, their joy, whatever they're going through at the moment, right? When I say disconnection, I mean there will be a time. It could be a couple of days, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple months for you. We are not all exactly the same. It depends on what momentum and energy you or I need to move forward, how long that disconnect is. So when I say that, again, what I mean is when you meet this soul connection, from the time you meet this person, you're aware of that connection and you can feel that whether they are in your presence or not. There is coming for you, if you have not experienced it already, a disconnection from the energetic component, which is your other half. You will not be able to feel that person. You may try to do things, because I've talked to several people lately that have, went in to look at the dynamic and see what's going on, or solve it. But this, my friends, cannot be solved in a third dimensional way by sending an email or looking at someone's Facebook status or last Snapchat video, because this is a dynamic that is above and beyond that. So, masculine, feminine disconnect. You will literally not be able to feel the other half of you. Okay, this has happened to me many times. Not that concerning to me, but I'll tell you what was concerning to me. Shortly after the disconnect from my partner, I had a total and complete disconnect from my higher self. And I'm telling you guys, if you could see me just walking aimlessly around this apartment, and I could not figure out what is going on with me. I'm still yoga, I'm still qigong, I'm still walking many miles a day. How am I disconnected from myself? It doesn't make any sense to be disconnected from myself. And this is why it's so important for us to speak to other people. Okay. If you have a twin flame, that doesn't mean you don't speak to your soulmate. That doesn't mean you don't speak to your soul family, because we're all here walking each other through the expanded unity consciousness and the catalytic energy, the contract, the love that we signed up for one person, means working as a group and working as a whole to achieve the ascension process for ourselves personally and the planet as a whole. So these people talking to other soulmates, talking to other soul family today really helped me understand something. I don't talk to a whole lot of people, as you guys know, and someone reached out to me that I haven't talked to in a while today, because she said she disconnected from her own higher self. Now, this happened for me a couple weeks ago, and I had not talked to anybody about it, because there wasn't anybody that was in the energetic space of that happening. So there just was not a person to discuss this with. And of course, she showed up this morning. Anna, thank you very much, showed up this morning. And we had a very interesting conversation, which really helped me to understand this. So the masculine, feminine disconnect. There are so many course corrections and personal life changes and global things that need to change right now. that a disconnect is sometimes required. If you try to start your car over and over and over again, what happens, right? You have a problem with the starter. You may have a problem with it overheating. It may not start, period, if you keep flipping it over and over. There is a need to rest that vehicle. And you and I are light bodies in a physical vehicle. And sometimes there is a need to take a break or have a disconnection from this kind of soul contract so that we can cool down like that car, right? It doesn't even have to be anything that got us going or got us fiery or whatever, but sometimes there's a need energetically to disconnect so that we may move and shift our energy. Now, the disconnection from higher self to me was alarming, unlike the disconnection from this other person. The disconnect from the other person, it was weird. It felt a little bit discombobulating to not have that person's energy be there, but I wasn't concerned like I was when I disconnected from my higher self. Now, remember in these soul contracts that we are, just like we are a fractal of God and interdimensionals and angelic realms, we are also all fractals of each other. When it comes to the closest fractal or the closest energetic match that we have, that's going to be the particular soul connection dynamic that we signed up for at the end of this cycle. So we need that disconnect to catalyze with the higher self. And this seemed really bizarre as this was all coming through to me today. And like I said, this video could be 10 or 12 hours long. I'm not going to do that to you guys or myself. But the disconnect from higher self, the person you're in that other soul tie, that soul contract with, also has access to your higher self. Now, whether they've tapped into that or not doesn't matter. They have the potential to tap into that. They have the potential to be aware of you at all times. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you dating someone else? Are you moving to Tijuana? They know these things. And even if they don't know these things at a conscious level, they feel these things at an energetic level. And the reason that I had a disconnect from my higher self was because, okay, when I'm in connection to my higher self, I'm connected to all the fractals that I've ever been, every lesson, every piece of wisdom. And while I'm connected to that incredible wisdom from higher self, that other person that I have a soul contract with is also privy to that. Now, I don't mean in a snooping, spying, manipulation kind of way. I mean, that person can feel your love, they can feel your joy, they can feel your happiness. If you are dancing on the coffee table in the living room and having a beautiful time, they're probably going to feel that. To what extent depends on the connection and how strong the connection is. But the reason, the disconnect, the concerning disconnect from higher self is, as long as I am connected to the fractals of everything that I've ever been, which is my higher self, my Akashic record, all of that data is in my connection to higher self. And as long as I'm connected to that, that other person can be connected to that. So let's say that other person decided, I'm going to move to the outside of the world, or I'm not interested in, working this out, whatever. Everybody has free will. That is a choice for them. But in this soul to soul connection, they can decide to move across the country and never speak to you and never have a relationship with you. And it's fine because, like I said, that's their free will. However, they will always feel that connection. They will always have the love from that connection with you. They will always have the comfort of that connection with you. They will always have the wisdom from that connection with you. They will always have that connection to your higher self. So when it happens to you, when you disconnect from your higher self temporarily, that is so the person that you have this soul contract with will feel what it's like to be without you. that person for the first time in their life. Or the thing is, we have so many lives together, right? We keep meeting and coming back together. It's like some scene out of a Titanic. I will love you to the ends of time, Rose, or however that goes. That's what it's like. So you come back in here time and time again. You may meet me, you may talk to me one time, you'll go, oh, I know who that is. I know who you are. This is happening with soul family, soulmates as well. Within the soul contract, specifically the twin flame contract, that person may decide, again, not to work it out, not to have this relationship dynamic, and that's fine. But at the end of oh, that's so incredibly strange. Okay. At the end of this 26,000 year cycle, the reason for the contract is for the highest version of Tina, the highest version of Anna, the highest version of Monica, okay? Everybody's highest version. So these soul contracts are not about just loving, partnership, romantic, whatever. That's the icing on the cake, okay? It is about the energy that catalyzes you and shifts you to change into the highest version of yourself. The masculine energy at the moment is following in the feminine's footsteps. The masculine energy is following in the feminine's energetic imprint on both herself and the unified field of consciousness and this galaxy. The divine feminine is showing the way, is leading the way to peace in the dynamic. At the end of the cycle, I'm not saying this for any other reason, just so that you understand what I'm trying to get across here. The disconnect from higher self from me is about my partner realizing what it feels like when my energy is completely gone from their life. Again, everyone has free will, but we set this contract up, this dynamic up between the two of us to be the highest version. So basically, this is our joint higher self within the contract, the higher self of me and my person, saying to me and my person, this is the end of this cycle. You have chosen this contract. Friendly reminder. Let me show you what it feels like to be disconnected from the divine feminine's energy. And the reason for that is this is the end of the cycle. And we are coming upon this energy of a tug of war between Libra and Aries. How long am I going to be the peacemaker in my family, at my job, in my relationship with my husband, right? How long am I going to be the peacemaker? How long am I going to be the negotiator? How long am I going to be the liaison? How long am I going to hide in what is not most beneficial for myself and the highest version of where I'm going? And it's so incredibly perfect for what's going on right now. This is going to be, wow, an incredibly long video. So feminine disconnects from her own higher self. Remember, in the soul contract, we share. I am not going to pretend I know everything. We have access to each other's higher selves, that I can tell you, because the higher self of that other person will leave you names and initials and dates and clues and songs and lyrics and whatever it is. We have both a connection to each other's higher self. If that person that you made a contract with is happy with no contact or just seeing you on Facebook twice a year, whatever, that's their free will. I'm just saying, higher self, that is shared fractals between the two of us, or wisdom between the two of us, is saying, Tina, we're at the end of the cycle. Is this really what you want to do? Do you really want to ignore or disengage from the thing you chose that would help you the most at the end of the 26,000 year period, springloading us into the ascension. So what I guess I could have said, long story short, is this person, this soul contract is your ascension partner. Okay. It's like if you're trying to make a 10-course meal and wrap all these things up and make everything beautiful and make sure you have the chairs, the napkins, and you're having a dinner party for 20 people and you're trying to do it by yourself, but you signed a contract and someone else was supposed to come over at 5 o'clock and help you, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more fun with that other person. And that's what it boils down to, okay? This contract, this soul contract was to make it easier, to make it more enjoyable. And that is why when you look at that person, when you look at that person in the eyes and the smile, whatever, you will say, wow, that person's exactly what I would have wanted if I could have chosen what someone looks like. Well, the reason for that is the dynamic is a lot of catalyst energy. It's not an easy soul to soul connection. It's, like I said, full of brilliant, empowering, chaotic lessons. That's why that person looks so incredibly, incredibly enticing to you. If it was a toad that was your other half, you would not be compelled to work on the dynamic, to work on the contract that you signed up for. So a disconnect is needed so that, and I hate breaking this down like this, so you all know that we are all, masculine and feminine energy. This is mostly a masculine thing that is going on. What I'm going to talk about is the masculine perspective of this for right now. The masculine person is the person, okay, we all have masculine, feminine. You could be 50-50, you could be 30-80, doesn't matter. If the majority of you is in the masculine energy, and I have several female friends that are, this is what you're going to be experiencing. The masculine energy is the one that's running from the connection. The masculine energy is the one that is running from the contract. Now, the reason for the running is, we go back to the Libra energy right now. I can hide in this. I can be comfortable in this. I can not have to change my ways in this. I cannot have to learn my lessons in this. Okay. You think you can stay there and just learn your lessons through osmosis. It doesn't work. We have to stop hiding and balance between Libra and the Aries, independence, fiery. Let's get this done, what we came here to do, because it's tied into the ascension process. Okay. So masculine, feminine disconnect. Again, it's the masculine in this contract that is the masculine energy that is running from this. My disconnection from higher self means I can't feel my higher self. Neither can he. That means he also cannot feel me in the third dimension, the fifth dimension, or any dimension. While I am disconnected from my higher self, my divine masculine cannot feel my energy in any dimension. This is a one last time check. Do you want to continue to, do you want to work on this? Do you want to avoid this? This is your gift. And it's incredible because when the masculine and feminine meet, they instantly recognize that it's a gift, but it just becomes sometimes chaotic and beautiful and it's messy, right? It's messy. I don't mind messy. I've had my share of messy, that's for sure. So the masculine is being asked right now, are you sure? Are you absolutely positive that you want to have nothing to do with this contract that you signed up for being the highest version of yourself? Now, when I say the highest version of yourself, I don't mean, okay, we're two people in love. That's like the highest compatibility. That's not what I mean by this. I mean, we are in an incredible teaching dynamic that's very brilliant and very powerful. And the reason for it is it is the fastest way to shift the energy within oneself, within the planetary consciousness, and within the galaxy. So it's not just asking you, divine masculine, are you sure you want to disconnect from your feminine? Are you sure you don't want to experience your divine feminine in this lifetime? Are you sure because you're so incredibly magnetized to her? It's also asking you, are you sure that you don't want to be a part in assisting the collective consciousness of changing the energy within the galaxy? Because you didn't just sign up to have a romantic connection with me. You signed up for a multitude of other things, which we don't have time to get into. But the biggest one is changing the energy and shifting the energy on planet Earth so we can have the ascension process, which shifts the galaxy, which changes Earth's place in the cosmos. That's what you signed up for. One last time, higher self is asking you, your own higher self, divine masculine, are you sure you want to skip out on this? Curtain call, final call. That's what this is. Okay. Now, there's a large portion of the divine masculine energy right now that's carrying an extremely heavy burden. The heavy burden is this: whatever's going on in my life that is not for my highest good becomes a burden. It may be one thing, it may be a habit, it may be a pattern that's not suiting for me or my lifestyle or my direction or my ultimate health or my ultimate happiness, whatever it is. But the divine feminine is ahead of the divine masculine in this. So we've been working on this for a while. We've let go of a lot of people, a lot of places, a lot of patterns, a lot of things, okay? But the divine masculine is carrying around an incredible burden at the moment. And that incredible burden is anything that's out of alignment with the highest version of themselves, which assists in their own ascension and the ascension of the planet and the changing of the energy of the planet and the galaxy. You see, this is all one thing. So when people say, you know, I'm not really interested in hearing about twin flames, I'm not really interested in soulmates or soul family, I'm not really interested in that. It's like, but you follow the ascension timeline and the ascension information, and we are the ascension timeline. My dynamic within myself, within my own relationship to myself, within my relationship to you, those people that are watching, within my relationship to my divine partner, I am the energy of ascension. I am the culmination of magnetism, which is changing the energy of this planet. So the burden that the divine masculine is carrying is, what don't I want to let go of that no longer serves me? And it's as simple as that. The burden is the clarion call to realign with self and higher self, to gain wisdom, to move forward on the ascension path. All aspects of life that are misaligned within ourselves, talking me, anything in my life, in my energetic field, that is a misalignment with self, same for all of you, we are receiving a clarion call to readjust. We are receiving the clarion call to course correct, okay? Whatever that is for you, it could be little things, it could be big things. For some reason, the clarion call went out to the divine feminine first. The divine feminine has been working for this for a long time. There is no perfection in this. The divine feminine still has many things to work through, many things that they need to work as well. The divine feminine is not carrying a burden that is about to break their back. And I'm not saying this is everyone, but this is huge, you guys. This is incredibly huge. That burden on the back of the divine masculine is a clarion call to realign with self and higher self, to gain wisdom, to move forward on the ascension aspect of the ascension path. And every single aspect of life that is misaligned within us is the clarion call to readjust our lives and our energy. And it is the clarion call to readjust in ourselves and make these course corrections in your job, in your relationship, in your family dynamic, in your health, in your energetic field, in your happiness, in your goals. You are on a path, you are on a course. Course correction means that we stop any course that is not in the highest alignment of self and move into a different course. We need to course correct our lives. We all have masculine, feminine energy, so this is what every single human is going through. As we are all masculine and feminine energy, that means the feminine also has a burden, but specifically to the divine masculine, that is mostly in the divine masculine energy, there is a burden and it needs to be let go. There is a clarion call and it needs to be listened to. Higher self again is telling you, do you want to, at the end of this cycle, skip out on the thing that you signed up for that would most assist you in becoming the highest version of yourself? The more masculine energy you have, the more you will resonate with the feelings and emotions of carrying this heavy burden. We all have things in reality that we need to shift. This is not about blame or anything, you guys. I think you guys know me better than that. There's something else about the masculine and feminine disconnection. When I, as the divine feminine, I'm disconnected from my higher self, it is so that masculine can feel what it's like to not experience my presence in any dimension. That is going to be a huge, huge, huge wake-up call. What the divine masculine may not realize, since we share a higher self and that fractal of Akashic information, those fractals of wisdom, when you disallow or disinvite or don't connect to higher self, or you are connected to higher self and higher self is urging your soul to make changes, and you are not making those changes, that becomes more of a burden, that becomes more of a pressure. The other part of this, though, is the intense disconnect is so that the divine feminine can understand what it feels like in this disconnection. So it's a very, very, trust me, intense disconnect. And we will, in that disconnect, understand the divine masculine's feeling or his perspective on how it feels when our energy is no longer available. Because the one thing that divine masculine knows, despite what he has decided to do in his 3D reality, despite whether, whatever the choice is, they could choose to go in one direction and not course correct, but they can always feel our energy. Our energy is always guiding, it's always leading, and it's always shining a light. Okay, and that's what the feminine does. The feminine leads, the feminine shines the light. The feminine has started the process of dropping the burden before the masculine. The thing about the disconnection, which is incredibly weird, incredibly weird. And I know, like I said, this video could go for 12 hours. Even if you meet the person, the soul contract, even if you meet them and it's not a physical meeting, it could be a phone conversation, okay, whatever. You guys' comments keep disappearing. So Herman, I see that you are here. Hello. And you're the only name I saw. And so anyway, the incredible thing is about this. When the divine feminine and masculine have a meeting, whether that's face-to-face, whether that's Skype, whether that's through an email, there is a recognition that is mind-blowing, okay? It may give you chills, it may send tingles down your spine. You may ask how you know this person. There's all kinds of things running through your heart, through your head, through your skin. Your hair reacts. Your entire body reacts to seeing this person, sometimes even just through a picture. The reason why it's so important for you to understand it, those in the dynamic, I think, are more than aware of this. But once the divine feminine and the divine masculine meet, and again, it does not have to be in physical reality, all the energy between us is so strong. It's so larger than life that whatever's out of alignment for the feminine or the masculine is going to be a clarion call for course correction. The clarion call to be the highest version of yourself. Now, whether you want to do that or not, that is free will. We all, of course, have that decision. But because when the masculine and feminine have a initial connection, there's this holy crap moment. Every single holy crap moment that comes after that initial meeting, the divine masculine feels like it has something to do with the divine feminine. We share something. We share a soul to soul connection. We share an Akashic connection. We share a connection that will not ever be severed, even when we leave this planet and reincarnate again here or somewhere else. This connection is too strong to be severed. So after that initial meeting, that, oh my God, what the heck is this dynamic? Who is this person? And why am I 7 years old and just coming across this? Because so many people do come across it at a later moment. That moment for the divine masculine is so incredibly larger than life that anything out of alignment is under the microscope of scrutiny for the divine masculine within us and within that other person. For the person who is mostly the masculine energy, a microscope goes to every aspect of life that is not joy, that is not happiness, that doesn't make my skin tingle or my hair stand up, or whatever that initial interaction was with that other person, the oh my God moment, the larger than life moment. So here's the thing. Right now, the divine masculine has this heavy burden energy of things that are out of alignment and need course correction. So when he hears that clarion call, many of you will not realize what that clarion call is. You will think, you will believe, you will spectate, you will conjure in your mind that larger in life moment comes from something the divine feminine is doing, something the divine feminine is making magic or doing spells or whatever. Different people think and feel different things. What I'm saying is, after that initial, oh my God, larger than life connection, once that is realized, once that experience has been had, every single thing that needs to be course corrected, every single thing that's out of alignment, every single aha moment, every epiphany he will feel is a clarion call directly from the divine feminine, not realizing that is your own clarion call from higher self to make the decision that is in the highest frequency, vibrational choice for you and your life. The divine feminine on the first wave, and there's always going to be exceptions to everything, so we can't take everything totally literally, right? I'm the perfect example about that. I'll tell you what I did. The divine feminine is not making a clarion call to anyone other than Mother Earth herself right now, okay? Maybe her ancestors. The divine feminine is not sending out a clarion call to the divine masculine, because the divine on the first wave, I should say, the divine feminine on the first wave of ascension knows it's none of her business. We understand the only way for those larger than life moments to become catalytic for the divine masculine. Those larger than life moments will invite you to make course correction is if the divine feminine stays in her side of the yard and doesn't have an effect on you. That means not having telepathic conversations with you, not, messaging you, not emailing you, not doing anything that you're not wanting, needing, or asking for. Of course, if you're, needing and asking for that connection, she's going to give it to you. What I'm saying is there's a big divine masculine with a very large, very heavy burden that has chosen to walk away from the divine feminine. And the divine feminine on the first wave of ascension is not going to be trying to get your attention or giving you a wake-up call or a judgment or a clarion call on your life and your course correction. That is your own higher self that you share within this connection. And that is why you feel like it's coming from me or coming from whoever it is coming from. The energy between us in this connection is larger than life. So I can understand why the masculine would think this is coming from the feminine. But the feminine on the first wave of ascension knows to stay in her lane and work on herself and her magnetism and her abundance and the happy life that she wishes to create for herself, whether you decide to walk away permanently or come back tomorrow. That's the energy we are in. I will tell you, the second and third wave are not quite there yet. So if you're on second and third wave, there may be some of that back and forth that, oh, I really want to help you. I really want to love you. I really want to support you until you have your epiphany. There are exceptions to that on the first wave as well. I am very positive. I am extremely healed, in case you can't tell by my demeanor, by my face, by everything that has changed in me. I actually even gained 3 pounds. But anyway, when I came out of the hospital, after dying on the operating table, I had a very different outlook, and my first wave of ascension, divine feminine outlook went out the window. Okay. For a couple of weeks, I don't care if it was the mailman, the grocery store attendant. And I'm not saying I was being mean, but I'm saying I was being incredibly direct. And if I felt like I had unfinished business with you that I needed to wrap up before 2023, you best believe I was doing it. And yes, I did reach out to that person. And yes, I did say things. Had I not had that experience, I had gone months and months and months without saying anything. It was a real toss-up between staying on my own personal course of ascension, in my energy of magnetism and beauty and joy and grace, and not reaching out to that person. But when the hospital gave me the news that I died on the operating table, there are things that had to be said before the beginning of 2023. I just saw your comments for a second. It's like, Herman, are you the only person there? I think I saw someone else's name, but hola. But yeah, so interesting. There are exceptions to that. After surgery, I had many life-altering experiences within a very short period of time with my hospital stay. So yes, I did cross that line and make physical contact, 3D contact, when I shouldn't have, when it wasn't any of my business to do so. But a close brush with death. We'll have you just wanting to speak to people. I mean, it wasn't just him, okay? I was doing it with everybody. Like I said, the mailman, the grocery store clerk, you look beautiful today. I love your hair, whatever. However I felt it was coming out, so there are going to be exceptions to that. The divine masculine is in an energy right now where the course correction that is not being made is because he does not want to lose what he has manifested or created for himself in a third dimensional reality. Okay. So money, commodities, cars, houses, whatever it is that you don't want to lose. That is what is causing a problem with course correction. The divine feminine has been in this energy kind of just unconditional love and wanting to love too much and wanting to help you and wanting to bail you out and just wanting you to know that you are loved and wanting you to know how incredibly powerful you are. But also know that we are not reaching out to tell you how much incredible love we have for you and how much incredible power you have in yourself, because we know that it is none of our business to do so. Now, there's something I want you to know. For the divine masculine that is carrying an incredibly heavy burden on his back, and that is not changing the things in 3D reality, staying stuck in the mindset, oh, I have this 401k, or I have this house, or I have 12 cars, or I have whatever. I'm not saying you shouldn't have or manifest things in 3D reality. I'm talking about the things that you have in 3D reality that are not love, that do not feel like love, that do not feel like joy, that do not feel like happiness, that are squashing you to the point where I never want to be negative. It's heavy. It's very heavy what the masculine is going through. And the divine feminine wants to love you out of it. Okay, but she's not going to. The first wave ascension, the divine feminine is not going to love you out of whatever you have gotten yourself into, because I want to tell you something. You have to decide to change. You have to decide to make course correction. And you can look at it the same way Alcoholics Anonymous look at alcoholism. You're not going to change your life until you hit rock bottom. If every time you feel burdened, I run to you and I say, I love you. You're powerful. You're brilliant. You can do this. You can do this. I lift a little bit of weight off of that person's back. I shelter that person or mother that person or share my divine energy with that person so I can relieve that burden, because I feel how hard it is for you to feel powerless and stuck in the things you don't want to change or can't change. But I feel the incredible heaviness of the burden that is not yet been changed, has not been yet course correct for many of you. And so while I want to step in and remind you that I love you, and I want to step in and remind you how incredibly powerful you are, I cannot do it, because that'll lessen your burden just enough that you can continue to stay on your same course, right? I come along, I lessen your load, you go back to your burden. You stay on the multitude of courses that are not serving your highest self. I come in, I show you love, I show you compassion. That gives you a little bit of a break. So that means that you can stay on that course for a little bit longer in 3D instead of listening to the clarion call that is coming, my friend, not from my higher self, but from your own. And I wanted to let you know that, and I wanted to share that with you. And I hope that everyone here can understand the importance of the masculine, feminine energy dynamic within self, within your friends, within your families, within your coworkers, and know that soulmates and soul connections and these soul to soul family connections, these twin flames, these karmic relationships, all of these things play an incredible part. It's so important for us to focus on self and assist the people that want the connection, and assist the people that want communication, and assist the people that want assistance, and not relieve the burden from someone momentarily so that they can stay on the course. So if I am reminding you of your power and I am reminding you of my love for you, you will never have an incentive to be the highest version of yourself, and to understand and to hear that that clarion call is coming from you and your higher self. I incredibly hope that this made sense. This is a small portion of what I received today. I hope people will listen and understand how important it is to understand our masculine and feminine balance within self and within partnership and within relationship at this time. Oh, hello, Anna. Thank you so much. Now I see Anna's here. it's really hard for me I have a studio light in my face, so it's really hard unless I recognize your little picture. It's hard for me to know who you are. Okay, wow, I've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. If you have questions, my preference would always be for you to put them here. If it's extremely personal, you can send it to me in Messenger. That's what everybody ends up doing anyway. If you want help with a relationship reading, if you want help with even a relationship dynamic without the reading, if you want to understand your north and south nodes, if you want a tarot reading, if you want a dream interpretation, everything is officially back up and a green light and a go for me to go. You can comment here if you want help with anything that I mentioned. A lot of times people reach out to me for services that I don't offer, and I say, let's just talk about it for a second, and I will get immediately, I'll just know, it'll click. I've never done this, never had this discussion, but I know I can help you, or that's not something I do, I will never do, I'm not comfortable doing, and we will send you to someone else. But I'm here, get a hold of me if you need me. The information for that is pinned at the top of my Facebook page. Taken an incredible amount of time. This is the longest video I've ever made. I hope this makes sense. If you have questions or need clarity, reach out to me. I love you, and I thank you as always for your support, for your prayers, and for your beautiful energy on my channel. I love you. Bye.